Hi and welcome to Coventry Log Homes. We're glad you stopped by today. We want to take you on a tour of our factory today to give you an idea of what we do with a tree and making it into a pre-cut log home just for you.
The log home milling process at Coventry Log Homes starts with the delivery of eastern white pine cants. The bundled cants are unloaded by forklift. A cant is a rough-cut, squared-off log. Many factors can reduce the strength and integrity of a log or cant. Therefore, it is important to have the wood properly dried to a 19% average moisture content. Green wood, which is undried wood, is very unstable because it will shrink, warp, and may even crack excessively as it dries. The logs that arrive at Coventry have properly undergone the kiln drying process. The process also has the added benefit of killing off insects and their eggs, as well as permanently crystallizing the pitch. Before a shipment is accepted, a cant from each bundle is checked for moisture content. The accepted bundles are then stored under cover and shielded from the weather. When a cant list has been prepared and a home is ready to be milled, a forklift carries bundles of cants to the descrambler station. A mechanical arm pulls each cant towards the planer operator. When in reach, the operator rolls the cant onto the roller bars, inspects the cant, and sends it through the planer. The log cants are held into position by the planer's feed rollers that grab the cant and feed it to the end of the line. The planer is what transforms the rough-cut cant into a sculpted profile. At Coventry, we produce round-on-round, chink, clapboard, and D-log. This particular cant is being milled into our most popular profile, the D-log. The planer has blades on 4 sides, so while the desired profile is being sculpted on 2 parallel sides, the tongue and groove is being cut on the other 2 sides. Coventry blades are frequently ground and well maintained on site by an experienced millwright. On the left side of the planer, you can see the vacuum hose, which has been installed on all the milling equipment to collect the shavings from the milling process. The shavings from each cutting station are vacuumed into a central storage area where they are then bagged and stored to be sold. Once the log passes through the planer, it is received by another Coventry worker on the other end who stacks it neatly. A lift table raises and lowers a platform to ease the process of stacking rows of logs. This saves on the back-breaking work of stacking logs by hand and helps protect the logs from being dropped and dented. Pieces of sticker strapping are placed between rows to help prevent marring the newly milled logs. When enough logs have been added to the stack, they are powered away by a conveyor and bundled securely with strapping in order to protect them in transport. Once secured with strapping, a forklift carries the milled logs over to the next mill line where they will be cut to length and numbered accordingly. Another lift table working in reverse eases the handling of the logs at this station. The logs are inspected for grading, and again, the logs are put on the roller bars and positioned to be flush for square cuts. The ends of the logs are first squared off by the head saw. End pieces are stacked into a bin. When filled, the forklift carries the wood box and dumps it for the locals to collect free firewood. There are many people who fully appreciate this gesture. A custom cut list is referred to when measuring for each cut. The row and number are written on the end of each log, as well as indicators for spline, female or male cuts. The cut log is then passed down the line either to the spliner for spline cuts or to the notching machine for male or female cuts. Here, a spline cut is being made. The yellow clamps hold the log tightly in place to prevent any movement in the log and to guarantee a straight cut. Splines join logs together where they meet in the middle portion of a wall and prevent air from passing through. Here, a female cut will be made. Clamps hold the log in position, and a combination of blades come from underneath to notch out where the logs will join at the corner. The log is inspected once again. The log is marked and checked off the list. Another worker measures and inspects the log, checks his list, and stacks the logs neatly. Here, the male cut is made. A notch is cut out to lock the corners together, completing the corner detail. Every log undergoes careful inspection to make sure they arrive in excellent condition. Here are the cuts that have been made in this line. In the construction process, the spline cuts will form a gap where the two logs meet. The gap is sealed with a putty-elastic caulking, and a plywood spline is inserted in the remaining void. Here, the male cut is joined at the corner with the female cut. This is the end of the line where the logs are checked and stacked in neat piles. The piles will be taken away by forklift and stored with the rest of the order, where it will be checked over and wrapped for protection. This is a gable shop. A gable is the triangular portion of a wall that begins at the eaves of a roof and ascends to the peak. Logs from the first mill line are brought here and set aside on a lift table like the one from the previous mill line. Here, square cuts are also made with a head saw. The gable line also includes a spliner to make notches where the logs meet and are joined together in the center portions of the gable. At the end of the gable lines, logs are cut to length at the angle of the roof pitch. After being cut, the log is stacked to make sure it fits well with the log below. It is then marked by row and number and checked off the cut list. The logs are wrapped for protection, loaded on a truck, and strapped down along with other materials such as doors and windows. The load is checked and photographed to ensure that nothing is missing. Finally, the entire load is covered by a large tarp. The loaded truck heads out to deliver a brand new Coventry log home to a very excited customer.